Hello for another time from
Hello.
Barcelona. Who are you?
I'm Marta Esteban. I'm a visualization engineer in the Barcelona Supercomputing Center.
What is a visualization engineer?
I try to communicate because we are in a research center that does a lot of simulations. I try to communicate the scientists or the engineers and the arts people together. I try to couple them together so we can do visualizations. My main job, the one I started here, is to create a converter between the simulation files, the data formats they use to store the simulations, and the visual formats from the film industry. And that's pretty much what I do. And from that, we now shifted to other kind of projects.
And what is your background? Because I think a visualization engineer does not really exist as
No,
kind
it's
of
it's not a career, a degree here in Spain.
I mean, it's a career here now, but
It's a career. I mean, there's a lot of people already been doing this in the film industry for a long time. But I come from a data science background, more close to computer science than what is currently done for the data science. I come from a first promotion of my degree in the university I studied here in Barcelona. So that first year was more of, I believe that we had a lot more of freedom in terms of the things that were taught to us, because we were the first one taking all of the courses, and I had the luck to be able to see the HPC side of the computer science, more from the computer science and the big data part, and I like it a lot. Also, I really loved visualizations and this kind of stuff. And when I did my internship here, it was like a perfect match.
So HPC doesn't mean high performance compute, just for the people who are not really into that jargon, right?
Sorry.
No worries. I'm just asking if I'm assuming that right.
Yeah.
What's the difference, or what's the particular thing about high performance computing when it comes to computer science or the engineering side of things?
One really important is they don't really think about visualizing the simulations they do. It's a thing that usually comes last in every step, in every pipeline they have. And with this new era of hypercomputing in the exascale now we are entering, or we have already started to enter, common ways of visualizing things in laptops, it's really hard. It's really difficult.
What were typical common ways of visualizing things that now find their boundaries or hitting walls?
They usually use mesh for the simulations, so the direct way was to use meshes for visualizing the data. But it is intrinsically volumetric data. So the film industry has been a long time doing research on how to visualize volumetric data for a lot of things. So that's where we enter, and we try to offer them new ways of visualizing data, or at least now that pipelines that we already have implemented are more for conventions, or for when they explain the results they have got. We are more into that part yet, but we want to enter also their time doing the research over the simulation data. And now we have ways with those pipelines that we have done, the one I started, for converting their simulation data into OpenVDB format, for example, and using high-end visualizations from the data. They can have videos, screen still shots, whatever, so they can put it in their presentations.
So what's the tools that you are working in on your daily basis?
Pretty much C++, Python, CUDA from time to time, depending on the things that we have to do, CUDA, and that's it, pretty much. But from the one side, from the other side, maybe Houdini, it's the software we use the most because of the pipelines Guille and they have here, so that's what we use.
So do you actually develop those tools also for within Houdini, or are they decoupled from it and come as a step before as kind of a converter?
No, they are. Houdini is more like a next step. We thought about this kind of process of a time that we should maybe sometimes change of software because of whatever reason, and it's a decoupled process. So the pipeline only generates VDB volumes. So as far as you can open a VDB, you are fine to work with them. And we believe these kind of approaches are really interesting.
Understood. So, and now, I mean, I have the luck and you have the dubious luck of being coupled with me for experimental, exploratory, I don't know if you can call it research, maybe research project.
It is research.
You were not too sure at the beginning of the last week if that amounted to research that
I
we're
didn't
doing.
know what to expect. I mean, it was new for me. I wasn't that used
Yeah, it's new for me as well.
for doing AI research, more of another kind of research. So I know people doing AI research, and it's different, but it's another way of doing research than I'm used to, because I'm used to doing a CUDA kernel or whatever, test it against a reference thing, and if it's going faster, our approach worked, and if it's not going faster, we have to go back and rethink things.
Yeah, AI, especially generative AI, is a lot more dirty than that.
It's different. It's a different research, so I didn't know how to, because the metrics you already have to see things, how things are going, are different for this kind of research. So it was new for me as well.
How did you adapt to it? By now, do you feel more comfortable with it?
Yeah, I think I feel more comfortable now after a week, and so after a couple of them. I've been talking to people doing AI and this kind of stuff, so now I know where to look at or what to look for, and see. Compare. I was used to compare other things. Now here with AI, the things you have to compare are different.
Yeah.
Because it's a completely different way of doing science.
Yeah, the metrics are completely different, and also, I mean, currently we are basically looking at text embeddings and their effect on diffusion networks, so the images that can be able to generate. That the networks will be able to generate using that, and try to build out a more human navigatable map of that space. Interrupt me or correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're going. Yeah. Those are the terms used in the AI field. Yeah, they usually use the term atlas for this kind of things, but maybe it's a little bit more fancy, or
it's fancy, but
scientists sometimes like to use this kind of terms. The titles for the papers sometimes are funny.
Let's see what title we give it, but we're trying to build an atlas for that, and an atlas that's also illustrated in images. And for that, we have the incredible luck of being able to use that high-performance computer that we have here, or at least parts of it.
Yeah, we need permission from the governing body to use it completely.
But I'm not sure if it's possible or if it's sensible to use the whole thing for what we're doing. Is it?
I don't know. I'm not. So there is an ethical committee that does those kind of decisions, take those kind of decisions.
Yeah.
They decide. They're the people who decide.
But currently we're not using the whole thing. So currently we're using a fraction of it.
Yeah.
So what's your approach, or what's the approach that you think we should be pursuing with this when it comes to this humongous amount of data? So just build a toy model first and see if hypotheses hold up, or what's the approach
here?
I
was thinking about using the Stable Diffusion 1.5. Are we using? Because it was a smaller model, we could run some tests locally. People outside the group could be using this data as well. And if we see this thing goes to somewhere, drive us to somewhere, we can use it bigger models that require more computing power. But for a starting point, the dynamic, I believe it's more like trying to find things or establishing the pipeline to analyze the latent space of a model. So using the big data, big models now requires a lot of data, and if something goes wrong in the middle, we have to start over a lot of processes. And that was a lot of computing time that we were not wasting, because it's never wasting, but if it doesn't arrive to a proper end, we have to start over. And with smaller models, it's faster, basically. And we can iterate faster. So
makes sense. For me, I must admit, I'm a total newbie in this field. So in the doing applications research, or doing a bit more, it's not really groundwork research, but doing research, just probing. As I assume you have a bit more experience in that general feeling. Do you think the way we've been approaching and the way this project has been going is normal-ish, or do you think it's uncommon or unconventional, or how did you perceive the collaboration and everything?
Yeah, it's a way we usually work. Someone is working on an idea, other another part of the process, and then when we both have things that are workish, we connect them together, because we're working in different steps of the visualization. We have involved people working in different stages. Another colleague is doing the 3D, how we will open this in 3D Houdini, for example, how we will open this. So it's different people researching different things, and we put in common the ideas, and That's the iteration.
I'm just asking because it's an honest interest of mine. It's not trying to get talking points out of you. It's just like, this is new for me, and I'm trying to figure out what is normal, what is procedures, what is the standard in this line of work.
I don't know the AI part, but in the HPC we have, I believe I saw this paper or else I read that thing, and I believe this approach could be adaptable from this thing, and you adapt it, try, maybe think this because this knowledge I have or this project we did, and that's it. It's pretty much your experience. The first projects are harder because you still doesn't have that sense of that touch of to where you should be going. That's what happened to me in this new field, because that's happened when you start in a new field. But I think that for the next collaborations, I hope there are more of this, we can have things spinning faster.
It's funny because, again, I come from an art background and I always aspired to be working in this kind of environment. And through some lucky circumstances, I finally arrived here. I'm super happy. But from the outside, it looks so mythical. It looks so, you think the research or science project is, I have this idea, I form a hypothesis out of it, I check it, and I arrive at this brilliant new discovery.
From my perspective, from my experience, I wouldn't say so. Because sometimes you are trying things. Because of now things we have interest in during the development of the pipeline. We have the computer capabilities. That's another big thing that we could use here. So we can try things in maybe the brute force approach, seeing if things will work, and from that point do something to optimize the process, or the other way around. You have some optimized process and you want it even a bit more optimized. I will think about this kind of research is like we can do it with big models, or we can do this kind of visualization will arrive to the general public in a couple of years. In a couple of years, consumer hardware will get in a reachable distance to what a supercomputer is, and the things that we develop here will be used for the general public. So
it's interesting when you phrase it like that. It sounds more like a decent amount of playing that is involved in it.
Yeah, for me, maybe I'm too young yet to do, but it's still, it's not college, but it's trying things. They propose us, so we can see problems, or we propose, we can try to do this thing with this kind of approaches or whatever, and that's what we do. Yeah, it's pretty much of trying things new, pushing the limits.
It's interesting because one of the critiques that I've heard, and I cannot absolutely follow that line of thought, is that doing research this way is kind of frivolous because you're just trying stuff out. But I think that is the beauty of research, that you're being open.
Yeah, depending on the type of research you're doing. It's not the same doing medical research or doing this kind of...
No, we're not.
Because they play with lives and things.
We're not doing human trials at this
but
point.
We are not doing this kind of... we are not building an airplane here right now. So there are people that do that, and the software needs to be robust up to limits that haven't been reached and shouldn't be reached. But this kind of research, so the focus that we have in this kind of projects is not that kind of research.
No, definitely not.
We do visualization. We don't do.
Yeah, we're doing visualization on visualization.
Yeah, it's depending on your field. I will say it's different approach.
Understand. In hindsight, because I'm always trying to also ask a bit about the education part of this, as I've got a newfound interest in teaching.
Yes.
In hindsight, your career, your academic or your educational career, did you wish there was something different, or do you think that some of the institutions or the programs or the teachers you had could have done something different or better? And if so, what would it have been, or what would it be?
Different, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't know what to say, but I believe that in college, maybe these kind of artistic exits or vias are not so common or not publicly advertised. So I didn't know until I came here to do an internship for collecting data and analyzing data of CO2 emissions. And then I saw what they were doing here, and I was like, hey, I'm interested. We have this project coming up. If you want to join us, feel free, and that's how we end up here. So this kind of more artistic or more these other approaches, not everything so centered on the more engineering part of the seeing the world, could be a good approach. Maybe opening more doors to other things. Or
that's an interesting point. What do you think are the most important points that you've learned now that you're working with artists or designers?
Maybe the things I would say are not working for artists they love it, because this model is not outputting the things that it should be outputting, but it's modified with it has such distortion that could be beautiful, or this kind of approaches.
Mm-hmm.
So these kind of things that I would call bugs, for an artist, it's not a bug. It's a feature, and they want to use it as visualization. We had some errors trying these pipelines. The volumetric data was shifted, and that was beautiful, but it's for what it is. It's not a proper visualization of what they're simulating, but it's a way of doing some more artistic things.
Did this kind of approach or this kind of thinking feed back into how you approach your work?
Yeah, for sure.
Are you more lenient towards open?
I can, before I would say if something is not going, or I can see some fails on the process of the results are not converging the whole thing they should be doing, before I will scratch the results, try again, and now it's like, okay, let's save a snapshot of what is this, and maybe we can do some visualization, and we adapt it and whatever. Yeah, that kind of not taking everything that is not the way it should be. That's a thing that artists love to do. Okay, it's another way to seeing the things. Yeah, for sure, I would say.
Do you have any advice to artistic or design students if they want to pursue this line of work here?
Try. Learn to code a little bit, at least. I mean, how the world is being digitalized in this kind of approaches, even inside Houdini with those Vex nodes or the Python nodes that are really useful for me. It's a good way to start doing programming, I think.
And if you had one wish, or maybe two wishes, that you wanted to relate to side effects to Houdini, basically your chance to do feature requests or any requests, or also just a shout out, and if you find it perfect, then that's it.
No, I mean, for me, I use less the node-based thing of Houdini, because until recently I didn't discover it was a for loop inside a node. That a for loop is like, okay.
Yeah.
But I believe that the API they have for Python, it's really nice, and keep expanding. I don't know. I mean, I'm not inside the film industry for something like that. I don't have I could say my needs are completely different to a lot of things.
So utter them. I mean, I think most of the wishes.
But I don't know how many people they are using this for this kind of work.
More and more.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have the experience to request anything right now.
Okay, maybe we'll do that.
I wish I could know more about Houdini and how to use 3D software like that.
No worries, I didn't want to put you on the spot here. Just like if you had something in mind.
I don't know enough of Houdini to be asking for things.
Marta,
maybe I ask for a thing that already exists. That's the thing.
To end this on a lighter note.
Okay.
And on a non-threatening note. What's the best about Barcelona food?
A lot of things. I really enjoy patatas bravas. It's really nice. It's one of my favorite foods.
So just as that's just me. So this is just an inside quote, because apparently you come from the region in Spain that prouds itself as the region with the bestest food there is.
No, I'm from we have a different culture about food, I would think.
In which regard different?
We have a lot of quality products in the backyard, for example, to say we have really close, really good products, and we tend to take those products for granted. And when I left my home and come to the other parts of Spain, it's a different approach.
But also, folks told me, you come from a region where a certain beverage has been invented or pioneered. A certain mixed beverage.
Not really invented. It was invented in my region, but in the area we used to. There is a really good wine area where I think a lot of good wines come from, and well, we're proud of. We are a really small region inside this country, and we're proud of the only thing we really have.
So, but people told me that you have a fancy for Coke and wine.
Yeah, because
What the fuck?
no, I mean it's a thing that a lot of us drink during parties.
Oh, is it just a personal thing or a regional thing?
No, pretty much everyone knows this beverage.
But man, when you have when you pride yourself of wine, why would you mix it with Coca-Cola?
Because it tastes nice.
I'll challenge you on that.
Well,
we will do a blind testing later, and we were gonna record it. And I'll tell you,
okay,
there's another certain beverage that competes with it.
okay, could be.
But let's see that later. Maybe we'll add it in here. Marta, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything that I forgot to ask you? Anything you want to add?
Not really. I mean,
Fed up. Just get out of here.
No, not really. I don't.
Okay, cool. That's fine. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for coming.